Curious, is there, given the physical talents, skill sets between Trevor and CJ, is there anything in your playbook that CJ can't do, or that you would hesitate or back off or simple, anything like that?
Yeah, no, I'd say there's not anything he cannot do. And part of it is he's been around all season long since the day we put the offense in. We always try to tailor it to the strengths of our players. So that may be something if we made that decision, I think that's a late pivot we could get to if we needed to, of say, we have this in the plan, we like it versus defense, but, based on CJ versus Trevor, whatever that may be, maybe it's, hey, let's stay away from that unless we need it. Or we kind of do that all the time, every week, but depending on who guys are and where they are and how we see things express themselves during practice.
And CJ's always had some ability, but is he completely recovered from that groin situation?
He is. As far as I know, yes, he is. He has not shown any effects from that at all. So,
okay.
Yes.
When a quarterback's taking most of the mental reps, how does that really kind of change your preparation with him during the week?
Yeah, well, you want to be conscious of anything new. So it's maybe, with where Trevor's obviously day-to-day. If he makes this thing late, maybe there's something that was specific this week that we need to make sure we get on a Saturday afternoon, potentially, of we need you to feel what this throw feels like and the timing of it because it is unique. Or it's something, hey, we got enough plays, we don't need it in that section. You're conscious of that. You're conscious of that going into the week, though. Hey, we understand there's times when we travel to London, we know that our Friday red zone day is a travel day. It gets a little. We try to be conscious of the install we have that week, of knowing, we're not getting the time on task that we normally do. Let's be conscious of new ideas, things like that. So kind of the same thing here. It's maybe if there's a receiver, a quarterback, whatever it may be, tight end that's not going to participate in practice full speed, then we're conscious of putting new things in the plan for those guys, knowing we may not be able to get it with the guy that's in there in the game. So we do everything we can to avoid those situations.
And then Trevor coming back last week, leading that drive for a touchdown in the second half. Did that game say anything maybe about his element of toughness that you guys maybe hadn't seen before?
Yeah, from my experience here with Trevor, there's never been a question of his toughness and his availability for the team. I think everybody feels very confident that Trevor's going to play if Trevor has the ability to. And there's times it's our decision to protect players from themselves. The same thing with Travis. There was a possibility of Travis playing, who was that against? Baltimore? Of playing against Baltimore, and we decided to, pull the plug on that just to protect him from himself. A lot of these guys are willing to play through a lot of things, but we need to do what's best for the player as well as what's best for our team. So we'll continue to make those decisions.
Drops were a bit of an issue last week. Are you confident that was like a one-off kind of deal?
Yeah, I mean, based on the way guys have played and the situations they've been in, we're confident that that is a one-off deal, like you said. Obviously, we just have to have great fundamentals. We got to be able to get two hands on the football. When we get hands on the football, we got to be able to pull it in. But that's just continuing to emphasize our technique, our attention to detail throughout the week, leading into Sunday.
When you have your quarterback kind of gutting it out through an injury last week and maybe even this week if he ends up playing on Sunday, what kind of message can that send to the rest of the team?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's any question of Trevor's toughness, but I think it does show your guys of this guy's doing everything possible to get there and to make himself available on Sunday if that needs to be. These guys live in the training room. And it's not just Trevor. It's a lot of our guys. At this point in the season, everybody's got bumps and bruises. There's everybody dealing with something, pushing through something. So I think teammates, I think coaches see other guys and their willingness to put themselves in position to battle back from some sort of bump, bruise, injury, whatever it may be, to make themselves available. So there's a lot of guys on this team that are doing that too.
How tough is the Titans' defense, and then specifically Jeffrey Simmons? How much of a threat does he pose to the offensive line?
Yeah, they're a really solid defense. I think their numbers would say the same thing. They got, I feel like a lot of teams. They got good players at every single level. Whether that's Simmons, Nico Autry, Bud Dupree, back into David Long, back into Kevin Byard. They got a lot of players that have played a lot of football in this system. They've had some injuries, and they just keep plugging guys in. It seems like the system doesn't change. They execute at a high level. They're really, really good in situations. It's a very smart team. Being in the division last year, I took an appreciation to just the way they play every single situation, just the awareness all their players have of what's going on. They definitely make the game very challenging for you.
What's it going to take to get Travis Etienne back on track? I feel like he exploded for a little while there, but the past few weeks have been kind of quieted down.
Yeah, we've certainly played some good defenses. That's been an effort of them to stop our run game and to get Travis from getting started. And so, obviously situations within games dictate that as well. You're down big in the second half of that game. You're not going to run the ball as often at Detroit. So it's managing the game, the situation, all that type of thing, but continuing to just find ways to get them touches. Sometimes it may be in the pass game, getting them on the perimeter away from the interior to get them some room and space, try to try to get him going that way. So it's a variety of different things to try to get him going.
Is that a space where he needs to really kind of develop his game so he can be more involved in the passing game?
I think a lot of it has just been, in terms of the pass game, the matchups we're looking for in certain situations. There hasn't been a huge need to feature the running back in the pass game with the things we've done. We feel like we've been able to put Christian, Evan, Zay, those guys in situations to feature matchups. Now, if the best matchup is Travis on a linebacker and we have ways to get to that we feel pretty good about what we're going to get from the defense, and that's something we'll certainly emphasize.
Does David Long kind of just jump off the table?
He does. Yeah, he's a very instinctive player. When he sees something, he is going. So it's a big point of emphasis for our guys. If he is a target in the run game, or if he's identified as one of the points of attack guys, that we got to be able to get there quickly. If he's on the backside of a run, you better run because he's running. He does a good job. He's a productive player for them. He has been for a while, and so he's certainly someone we're aware of.
Has Christian Kirk been everything you expected?
Yeah, and more. I would say, not having known Christian directly, but knowing a lot of people that coached him in college, played with him, whatever it may be, always had a high opinion of him, watched him from afar, spoke with people that coached him last year that were sad to see him leave Arizona. But yeah, he's been a pro through and through every single day. He comes to work every single day, doesn't complain, will do anything asked of him, and has the ability to do a lot of different things. We've mostly featured him in the slot, but he's done a good job when we've put him outside of doing things. He's been available in the blocking game. We've handed him the ball a couple times, and he's able to do some things. So as far as setting the standard, impacting the game, we're very happy with what Christian's brought to the table so far.
Good. Cool. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Good.
Appreciate it,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys.
What do you sort of make of what happened in Detroit and sort of what went wrong early?
It's one of those performances where it felt like it wasn't us. And you go back, you talk to the guys, and they had the same feeling. So just got to come back in here, had a good day's work yesterday, and continue that today and just get back on the field Sunday and go at it again.
The guys were talking about how there was a lack of energy. How do you sort of fix that during the week and then going into the game so that there is no lack of energy moving forward?
Well, the thing about it is you noticed it watching the film about we have a saying that when one makes a play, we all make a play. And you should be excited when your brother makes a play, and you didn't see that on Sunday for whatever reason. So we just, we're going to dig deep and find out, go back and let this game be a youthful game. Enjoy the game. When you're out there, have a smile on your face, go out there, make plays, and have fun with it.
What can you do sort of to put the players in a better position to succeed?
Really just go back and look at what they do well and give them opportunities to do it. And, we study weekly on what rush this guy, what matchup is best for this person, and go out there and give them opportunities to do what they're good at.
The Jags have made some pretty big investments in the defense. Do you have the talent you need still to have a top-level defense?
I think the talent is here. We're happy with the players here, and we just have to get them understanding that when you do it the right way, you just have to do it the right way over and over and over again. You'll see times where we're right on point, then other times we're not. So that's part of coaching, and we all own that. We got to get those guys playing the way they need to play over and over and over.
What's the key to Derrick Henry this week?
Well, getting multiple guys around him. We have to be good at standing in our gaps, and once you're in your gap and you secure your gap, go help whoever has a free gap make the tackle. And we need a lot of effort getting to the ball, and that's the way you try to slow them down.
Is this an offensive line? They play a lot of games together that you can tell on tape that they're really cohesive.
Oh, yeah. This is a group that they understand the scheme they like to run, and it's harder to really practice it. But once you get out there, you tell them and you have them watch film and try to make them understand the speed of which they try to run their outside zone and, understand what we're about to get into and have their mindset ready to go, try to stop it.
Doug said yesterday that he thinks the preference would be to, have one guy at that third cornerback spot as opposed to keep trying a couple other guys. Do you feel like you guys are close to maybe figuring out who that could be?
Well, you're always wanting just one guy to take the lead, but right now we're just trying to find a guy. We're out there and putting guys, they're doing a good job of coming in here, working extra after practice, trying to understand their deficiencies, and what they need to get better at, which we all do, and just trying to continue to improve.
If Chad Muma can't go on Sunday, you got to turn back to Devin Lloyd. How do you go back to a rookie after you kind of pull the plug on and make sure that the confidence is still there and that he's ready to go?
That's the thing about Devin. When we ended up playing Chad, while we had to talk, and it wasn't you're being demoted. We're trying to give you a chance to sit back and take a look at how the game was being played early on in the season. And Devin's handled it great. He's come back. He's worked real hard and had a couple of good weeks of practice. And it's not like we're going back to Devin. Devin has played the last couple of weeks, but his role could expand depending on what happens with Chad. And I'm excited for him. See him go back out there.
How much did not having Andre Sisco last week change the defense?
He's one of your guys, and you always want your guys with you. And when he wasn't able to play, it changed the defense because we had Dewey out there playing multiple roles. He did a great job of handling that role, but there's a kind of comfort when you have a person that's been there with you throughout the whole season. And Dewey did a great job of filling in, and we didn't have Sisco, and hopefully we'll get him back soon.
The pass rush hasn't exactly been good for a little while now. Is there a way you can jumpstart it, spark it like midway through the season with the personnel that you have?
Well, right now, the thing about the pass rush is we're all frustrated about it. The players are frustrated about it, and what we can do is go back out there on Wednesday and Thursday and continue to work at pass rushing. And that's what we did the last couple of weeks, and we did it yesterday. Do it again today, and on Sunday, see what happens.
Trayvon's been a little quiet, but are you still seeing sparks of him heading in the direction you want him to be?
Oh, definitely. He's heading in the right direction, and we're pleased with the way he's playing.
Hey, Mike, given your personal family connection to WNBA and women's basketball, what's your feelings on Brittany Griner getting released today?
Really, once I heard about it, I was like, wow, that's good for her, good for her family, and good for the WNBA and women's basketball in general. So, I guess a couple of players, we talked about it this morning, and, we're just happy that she's coming back to her family.
What have you learned about being a defensive coordinator that you didn't know when you first started? I mean, this is your first kind of season in the role. What would you have told yourself going into the year? Really, the main thing I would probably try to do is just try to understand the time constraints. Like you have so much time, but then so little time. And that's probably the big thing, being able to understand setting up meetings, being able to get the information to the coaches, get the information to the players in a short amount of time. And we had a great offseason. I thought we got the process, but once the season gets picked up, there's so much information you want to dig in and find for the players, and then having an understanding of how much information they really need and how much you want to give them.
To kind of build on that, you probably came into the year thinking that the defense was going to look a certain type of way. How closely does it look to what your vision was maybe before the season?
Really, the vision hasn't changed. I want this defense to be I have a vision for an attacking defense. At times we've been able to do that, but at other times we needed to not attack as much based on what offense we were going up against. And it'll be a weekly thing. Whatever we need to do on defense, we'll get in there, find it out, get it to the players, and come out here and try to execute it.
Has not having, that second corner solidified, Shaq being in there, has that sort of changed how you guys need to approach the defense?
Not really. It's just guys that get opportunities to play. You have to go out there and make plays. And that's everybody. It's not just one position group. That's everybody. Coaches need to coach. Players need to play. And you get an opportunity to do it. That's your job when you go out there and do it.
But it's far from ideal situation when you're searching for a starter at a cornerback position at this point in the year, right?
Well, what really is, I wouldn't say searching for a starter. We have guys that we understand are younger guys, and those guys, given opportunity, will develop into good players. We just need to give them more opportunities and let them continue to progress.
Good. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.